Hello and welcome to the Inspiring Life School podcast. This is your host, Frances Vidakovic, and on this podcast, I'll be sharing with you the most valuable strategies to live your one wildly beautiful and most precious life. Because this is it, my friend. In case you haven't guessed, when it comes to life, there's no rewind or pause button that exists. They say that the way that you spend your days is the way that you spend your life. So my one and only goal here is to help you stop wasting your time, stop holding yourself back in life, stop experiencing non-stop negative mind chatter, stop just dreaming without doing, and start living life fearlessly instead, with more purpose, focus, and intention. I sincerely want you to live life in a way that when you come to the end of it, you know deep down in your heart that you 100% gave it your all, flaws and all. This podcast is not about doing life perfectly. Instead, it is about experiencing and living life with more clarity and courage and truly appreciating this precious adventure that we are so blessed to be on. So if you're with me here today, it's time to stop spinning in circles, get off the hamster wheel for good, put your hands back on the steering wheel of your life, and finally start living life in a way that you won't later regret. With that being said, let's dive on in. Hello, my friends, and welcome to the Inspiring Life School podcast. I'm your host, Frances Vidakovic, and today's episode is all about embracing your weirdness. So why don't we start by defining the word weird? So it's considered to be anything that's a little bit strange or unusual or something that you wouldn't expect a fellow human to do or think or feel in particular scenarios. Now, the underlying implication of having this label, so labeling anything to be weird, is that it is different, or maybe someone's not doing things in the normal way. But this always makes me think of that Kurt Cobain quote. This is one of my favorite quotes. People laugh at me because I'm different. I laugh at them because they are all the same. So I recently shared a list of weird things that I do on a regular basis on social media, and there were 10 things on that list, but I definitely have more to add to that list today. So here's the original list I'm going to share with you now. Number 1, whenever I go for a walk, and I usually either listen to music or a podcast, but if I'm listening to music, I usually can't stop myself from softly singing out loud instead of inside my own head. So I think that I probably look like a bit of a weirdo if you're seeing me pass. I've got my headphones in or my AirPods in, and yes, I'm muttering to myself the words to that song, softly singing along. Number 2, I have no problem smiling and talking to random strangers all the time. I can start conversations probably with most people, and I always have the best conversations. So my kids probably find that a little bit embarrassing that I can stop and talk to anyone and everyone, but that's one of the weird things that I do on a regular basis. Number 3, I will put something on inside out, like my underwear or something, a piece of clothing, and I will call it good luck. Number 4, I will regularly dance around the house simply because I love dancing. Even if I'm just singing the song along to myself, I just figure I love to do it, and why not do it often? Number 5, if I wake up in the middle of the night and I can't sleep, I don't even bother wasting even a moment just trying to get myself back to sleep. I pull out my iPad, normally sitting beside me on the side of my bed, and I will read a book for an hour or two under the covers or until I feel tired enough to naturally go back to sleep. Okay, so I think in the past I might have spent an hour or two tossing and turning. Now I just read, and that probably naturally puts me back to sleep with ease. Number 6, I will see someone in the limelight, like a famous celebrity who everyone thinks is oh my gosh, they're so special. And I feel like I'm looking at a completely different picture. I always think how can everyone not see how they might be really superficial or egotistical or non-inclusive? I don't know, really it feels like we're sometimes looking at two different people. It's like I'm in the twilight zone. I sometimes just don't get it. Number 7, I can listen to the song River Flows in You by Yuruma. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's Yiruma for hours on repeat. I now absolutely love working full-time from home, but when I first started, it took me a long time, I think, to actually not get distracted by all the different things that I could potentially be doing instead of working, like my chores. So I would take myself over to the local library, which was just the most incredible place, and I would put on my headphones or AirPods and literally listen to that song, A River Flows in You, on repeat. Number 8, I actually genuinely love playing games with kids. Not everyone loves it. Sometimes if the kids or if a child comes and asks, can you help me with Lego, or can you play a Monopoly game with me? Generally speaking, most people would go, oh, no, go and do that yourself with another friend or with your sibling. But for me, I enjoy it, and I enjoy watching the way that young minds work. And I think I was in my element when my kids were younger and all they wanted to do was play. I think that when it comes to parenting, you know that there's an age that you excel in your parenting, you're in your flow. And that for me was when my kids were younger. Not so much the teenage years, but when they were younger and they loved to play all these imaginative games, I loved it. Number 9, another weird thing that I do, I could always see two sides of a story, even when the other story is really hard to fathom by most people in the world, like people who do really terrible things. I don't know, I feel like I can actually try to step into their shoes and try to see the logic of where they might have been, what they might have been thinking, or what their motivation might be, even if I was to see that sort of story as something really terrible. And I think this comes down to just my writer's brain. I've always had to be able to put myself in other people's shoes and write from different perspectives. And number 10, I think about death a lot. I know that might sound really weird to you, but I do it in a good way because I use that image to remind me of how fragile life can be. And it sort of forces me to show up every single day more intentionally and love more, do more, be more today, because I remind myself that one day we're all going to die. Now for a few more weird things about me. And the reason I've even labeled them as weird, because they're not weird to me, is because someone has probably in the past pinpointed or specifically said that is so weird. Number 11, I actually hate wearing socks. Whenever I go to the gym to work out, I still never wear socks. And my daughter will say stuff like, oh, that's so gross. Your shoes are going to really smell. But guess what? They never do. And I don't know whether I have a gene that gives me the superpower of having feet that are always feel pretty clean. Maybe I'm sweating out sweat from every other pore in the body, but my feet isn't usually one of them. Another weird thing that I do, and this gets mentioned to me a bit, is that I wear dresses all year round. You will rarely see me wearing long pants or jeans because I feel like I'm just being strangled around the waist. I know, really weird. So even if the weather is super cold, I'll always wear a dress with a coat or a winter jacket along with warm Ugg boots and yes, no socks. Oh, I probably should say that I have made the exception when it comes to socks. My dad once, it was during the pandemic, he gifted me these socks that were super thick. I think they're more home sock shoes that I wear around the house throughout winter, but you can't wear them with really shoes. They're big and fluffy. So maybe I'm just someone who likes to stay super warm around the top part of my body. And if I'm warm up there, it sort of makes up for the fact that my lower body is more exposed, because news alert, even when I'm wearing dresses, I will never, ever, ever pair them with stockings or pantyhose. Another weird thing about me, I started out my early years by eating avocado with sugar. I didn't even know it could be a savory food like we have it now with, a smashed avocado toast with tomato and parmesan. But back then I had it with sugar. And just like how I thought avocados were a sweet treat, I used to think French toast was always savory. I never knew it could be a sweet thing. I remember once going camping with a friend or a whole bunch of families, and a friend made French toast and she paired it with a really sweet berry compote. It was beautiful. But I remember thinking, oh my gosh, that is so weird, as opposed to having it my way with salt and herbs. That I thought she was weird and she probably thought I was weird. Hey my friend, I just want to pop in and share with you the most amazing news that Inspiring Life Academy is finally open for enrollment. So inside the Academy, you are going to find every single course that I've ever created in my business to help you manage your mind, time, and life in a way that finally gets you the results you truly want. And I'm not kidding when I say it includes literally everything. There is over 50 courses and coaching roadmaps included inside with a total value of over $3,000. So to access this membership today at a super low founding members price, please make sure to check out inspiringmumlife.com/academy. That's inspiringmumlife.com/academy. Now, I have no idea how long the doors to the Academy will stay open, so if you're curious, I encourage you to check it out today, and I can't wait to see you inside. Now, this is probably just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to things that people might consider to be a bit weird about me. And I promise you, the list goes on and on and on. But you're probably wondering, why am I even chatting about this, about all the weird things that I do and that humans in this world do? And it's because I want you to embrace your weirdness, rather than thinking that your weird, quirky traits make you somehow abnormal and wrong in some way. The only thing they do make you is different. But guess what? They're supposed to make you different, because every human in this world is different. You're supposed to be different. And I think it's probably time that I point out that the phrase being weird or that's so weird is completely subjective. You might have heard me mention some of the things above, and while I was actually saying it out loud, I'm well, that's actually not really that strange. You might have thought, no, I'm with you with that. Alternatively, you could have heard some of those things and be really struggling to wrap your head around that. And that is okay. I swear, there are so many mainstream singers and songs that make it to the top of the charts, and I really can't fathom how people love this stuff. It's these people exist on a different planet from me. But that's okay too. That is what makes this world so interesting. The fact that we have close to 8 billion humans right now walking around this earth with different likes and dislikes, different dreams, different desires, different hopes. Imagine how boring life would be if everyone was just a carbon copy of each other with zero unique personality. Do not wish that for yourself. Do not wish that for others. Like if you've got kids and they're different, that's the way it's supposed to be. They're supposed to be different. They're supposed to be quirky. So the next time someone says to you something like, well, that's so weird that you think like that, or you do that, or you act like that, say, thank you. Thank you. Okay, embrace your weirdness. Those quirky traits are often your best qualities, the things that set you apart from the rest, that set you apart from everyone else. So that is it, my friend, for today's episode. I want you to embrace your weirdness and come and join me inside Inspiring Life Academy, where you are going to find every single course that I've ever created to help you live your life with more intention and focus. So this is an affordable membership that's going to change the way that you think and feel and take action every single day, because it's going to force you to be hyper aware that you are the creator of this one wildly beautiful and precious life that you've been gifted with. Plus, you're going to find inside the Academy the exact strategies that you need to follow to quickly see radical changes in all the different areas of your life, from your self-concept to your relationships, to your health, to your business. All of it. Okay, that is what we cover inside the Academy. So if you're tired of living a life marked by inaction or misguided actions, and if you're tired of feeling frustrated and having that deep-seated unfulfilled feeling in your bones, you know what I mean? If you're feeling it, just like you feel unfulfilled in some way and you know that something needs to change, let me take you by the hand and guide you down a different path inside Inspiring Life Academy. For more info, check out inspiringmomlife.com/academy. As you know, I love and appreciate you all. And until next time, much love. And I can't wait to catch up with you soon. Thank you so much for listening to the Inspiring Life School podcast. I really appreciate you allowing me to be a part of your life. If you'd love to stay in touch, please know that you can always find me on Instagram at Vidakovic, or you can visit my website, inspiringmomlife.com, where you can sign up and receive so many amazing freebies that I've created just for you to help you implement all my teachings into practice. There you'll also find all my online courses, resources and programs that I've created to help you up-level your life in seriously the simplest way possible, so that you can ultimately create for yourself a life that feels simpler, lighter, and allows you to show up in a way that you love as your best and most authentic version of yourself. Now remember, this podcast is all about not just dreaming but also doing, because to create true sustainable change in your life, you need to be willing to do things differently. And that's what I'm here to support you to do every single step along the way, so that you too can begin to live your one wild and precious life with less stress, less overwhelm, less drama, and instead with zero regrets. Finally, if this podcast resonates with you at all and you appreciate the content, I would absolutely love for you to show your support by leaving me a review on Apple Podcasts. I'm on a mission to help more people wake up to the preciousness of life and to help them live their days with more intention and purpose, and your review will help make this goal of mine possible. Well, once again, thank you so much. I have loved spending this time with you, and I look forward to connecting with you again. I'm Frances Vidakovic, and you have been listening to the Inspiring Life School podcast.